You dig what I'm saying? Hey, you see me?
I see you.
You see me? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I just want to let you bust or snore. No, your plane didn't go through. I woke up today. you still gotta deal with me. It's not over.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Welcome back to TTMTrades, man. It's been a long time coming. The last video I recorded was 2 months ago, people. 2 months ago, back on July 15th was the last video I recorded, man. Look, last time I checked, I had like 1,231 subscribers. I got 1,243. I thought I was going to come back after 2 months. I lost a lot of my subscribers, but a lot of y'all still stuck around, man. So I really appreciate it. You know, I've been going in and out to sea. But let's just jump right into it, man. Even though I've been going out to see, a lot of my plays that I delivered prior to me leaving and going out to sea are really breaking out. All right, we're just going to go over a couple of them. So ATM, man, I warned y'all about this one back on April 12th. Gave the alert. I said ATM is about to go. April 12th, 346 cents. My posters went up 37 cents from 38 to 75 for almost 100% return. Okay, that's one of them. I alerted you about CRMD back on April 29th. I gave you the technical analysis and everything. That was at 22 cents. It is now at $1.38 for a 527% return. I gave you that one back on April 29th. What else did I give you? A couple ones I'm looking at for this week: Teum, Life, NAC. But what else? That last video I recorded on July 12th. July 15th, I told you about CRMD, CVM, BDR, and PLG. Look at the returns on that. From when I first alerted you back on July 15th, I gave you my top 3 for the week, my last video I recorded. Ever since that video I recorded, we talking CVM from 96 cents up to $4.06 for a 322% return. We talking PLG from 10 cents up to 17 cents for a 65% return. And CRMD, which we already talked about, we got it at 527% altogether. All right, what else? We talked about ticker ABIO. I told you about this one back on May 30th. I said a low risk entry back at support levels with a higher low. When I posted it, it was at 53 cents. So from May 30th, let's look at what ABIO did from May 30th forward. As you can see here, I told you about this one on May 30th. Right here when it had that drop, I told you we was back at those support levels. Just like I said, low risk entry back at support levels with a higher low May 30th. If you see right after that dip, bam, back at support levels, May 30th, higher low, higher than that last low right here. And then we had that run back at support levels where I told you to try to make your entries right around 51 cents, and it ran up to $1.28. Easy, 120% return. That's why I got that one on here. Told you about that one. What else did I give you? I told you about XXII back on June 3rd. When my man asked me about these 3, he wanted a quick TA. I told him, hey, A&W still consolidating with overhead resistance at 338. As you can see, it never broke that 338 because it dropped 53%. And I told him Uick needs to break $1.58. As you can see, Uick is still at $1.58 from June 30th. It never broke it. But what did I tell him? I said XXII looks real good. That's the one you should play. And from there, June 3rd, when I told him about it, we went from 222 to 287 for almost a 30% return. What else did I give you? I told you about ticker RARX back on June 12th. I said RARX looks good. All right, and then from there, from 837 to 1809 for 116% return. I'm giving you real returns. I'm talking about what I post is time stamped. That's what I love about stock twits. It's time stamped. Once I type it in, I hit enter. It's locked in. Ain't no changing it. I told you about PAC B back on June 12th. Said PAC B looks good long term, but overhead resistance at 548. But what on the short term pullback? From that moment forward, it went from 317 to 541 for a 70% return. I told you about the one back on June 12th. What about HTGM? Even told you about HTGM back on June 12th, from $4 to $5.05 for a 26% return. Told you about XO back on June 12th, right, for a 21% return. Okay, I mean, I've been giving them to you left and right. So even though I've been gone for 2 months, we still been out here making money. No excuses. None at all. Hey, I got you. I'm gonna get right back to you on that one. All right, but I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I've been giving you the look, I'm a swing trader, I'm not a day trader. I see the setup, I tell you get ready for the breakout, and then from there you make the money. All right, so again, we're gonna jump into 3 that I've been looking at here recently, okay, which is Teum, Life, and NAK. All right, I know I've been going for 2 months, but look, the money don't stop. Nothing stops. We're gonna keep getting to the money. I'm a swing trader, so these picks I give you, you sit on them for a week, maybe a month or 2, and you wait for that breakout. Patience, okay. I'm talking about P-A-Y, Shence, T-I-E-N-C-E. That's how we spell it. All right, so let's jump right into ticker NAK. All right, so ticker NAK, let's look at this on a long-term basis. Let's go over here to the weekly. So looking at ticker NAK, as you can see, it's on this nice little downtrend right here from that high 234. Kind of try to consolidate right here in that 80-cent range, and then immediately broke down again, and now you can see it's consolidating right here in the low 40s to mid 50s, and consolidating nice and tight into a nice little range. Now, one thing to pay attention to is it's holding above that 10-period moving average, which is this golden line right here, nice and easy. You can see it's kind of going into a consolidation pattern, as we pointed out. I mean, you can, you know, me, I visually see a yeah, y'all tell me what y'all see, right? We got that high right here, and we got these higher lows. What do you see? All right, me, I see an ascending triangle. Now, the positioning of the ascending triangle, an ascending triangle at the bottom of a downtrend can be iffy, because normally you want to see an ascending triangle set up on a uptrend, right, where you have a nice run up, and then you get some sideways consolidation. Then all of a sudden during that sideways consolidations, you start getting higher lows, and then you get another breakout for another run up on that leg. Okay, so normally seeing it at the end of a downtrend can be a little suspicious, but the beautiful thing is that there's a possible breakout here. You can see the volume is beginning to taper down, maintaining below average volume. So normally when the volume begins to taper down, that means that the selling is beginning to decrease, right? And there's kind of equilibrium between buyers and sellers fighting back and forth on who's going to take this one. Now, what I will watch for is a break above that 60 cent to 65 cent, right where that middle Bollinger Band is at, acting as overhead resistance. And I would watch that this ascending triangle continues to hold. Now, that's long term, looking at some of our profit targets of 65, which correlates with this overhead area, 81, which correlates with this bottom area support, and then 97, which correlates with this consolidation area's resistance. Okay, so those are our key profit targets. Another thing to pay attention to is your RSI, which was trending below its 10 and 30 period moving average, has now begun to trend sideways and is now holding above that 10 and 30, with the 10 period moving average crossing over the 30. So there is some slight momentum building within this one on a weekly time frame. Even your volume, as you can see, was a lot of selling volume, then it began to taper sideways, and then you had another dip in the selling, and now even the selling volume is beginning to taper off and move sideways and hold above average. So this is something definitely I would pay attention to. Now, looking for any type of big run, no, I don't foresee that happening, but you do have these possible profit targets at 65, 81, and 97. Now, if we zoom in on a daily to get a day-to-day picture, you can see where you kind of got this little channel going right here, but it is creating higher lows, something to pay attention to. You got that low of 42, 47, 48, 49, 52, and now, as you can see, even your swings is getting tighter. You had a high swing of 68, a high swing of 59.15, another high swing of 59, but as you can see, it's beginning to tighten up. So it's kind of looking like a symmetrical triangle, depending on how you look at it, right? With a pending breakout here sometime soon. You got that low, high, low, high, low, and it's riding that line. So either we're gonna break to the upside, and or we're gonna or to the upside. So we're gonna keep an eye on ticker NAK. Now, what we talking about? We're moving on to Life, because Life has been very, very good lately. My life personally, but we're gonna talk about the stock here. So looking at Life, let's go long term, looking at the weekly, right? Because if we're gonna play the stock from day to day, we want to look bigger picture and see what type of type of momentum we playing into as far as on a weekly basis. So as you can see here, it had this nasty drop, looked like probably to some news or something, then immediately some accumulation, and also looked like some shorts taking positions, and then again you had this another drop down to 60 cent. As it began to get down in that 60 cent range, you can see these high volume spikes to show that there was some buying interest. Mind you got these small wicks at the bottom, and then immediately you get a nice run up on some buying power, and now it's beginning to pull back. So what I would watch for is when it pulled back, is that it pulled back and holds on that 73 cent. If that 73 cent support fails, which is where the 10 SMA is at, then you're probably going to look at a double bottom retest down here in that lower to mid 60 cent range. So keep an eye on that one. Now let's look at where that 73 and that lowest 60 cent correlates to on a day-to-day. So just looking at this on a day-to-day, that 73 will correlate with that middle Bollinger Band right here on a day-to-day, and then that lower 60 to mid 65s will correlate with the outside Bollinger Band and the inner lower Bollinger Band right here at 68 to 62. So you might be getting that pullback here. I'll watch to see that maybe that 62 and that 68 holds like we talked about. Now, beautiful thing about this, like I said, as you begin to get that drop down to that 60 cent range, you got some nice volume spike right here, just above average or so, some buying interest, and then you get a nice little run up. So here, as you can see, the momentum is beginning to build on the RSI. We are holding above our two averages of 10 and 30 right now. Now what I would also keep an eye on is the on balance volume. As you can see, there's a lot of selling volume. Mind you, the line is continuously dropping, and then the buying power versus the selling power, with the buying power and the bulls greatly outweighing the bears, and as you can see, the on balance volume beginning to tick back up. So just something I would keep an eye on. Right now it looks like a shakeout pretty much is where all the weak hands are getting shaked out of this stock, and all the strong hands are accumulating the shares right in this range of I'm gonna go with 62 all the way up to 74 cent, with some resistance right here sitting right at 87, where this keeps topping out at, going all the way back to hit that line of support, coming all the way across to now being that line of resistance. So if you're looking to get in this one, I wouldn't buy in that mid to high 80s because that's where the current resistance levels is at. I would wait to buy in the lower 60s to mid 60s if you can get in there. That's a little greedy, but if you can get down in that lower 70 range to make a nice entry, then that would be a nice safe entry. Even if you try to play it from 70 back up to that resistance point up here around the high 80s, that's a nice 10 to 15% gain, depending on how you play it. So just keep an eye on that entry range. Excuse me, that's a nice 15 to 20% gain. So just keep an eye on that. There's different ways you could play life. Be patient. There may be a bigger breakout here later on down the line. Give it a month or so for those who are patient enough. But if you just want to play the spread of the current support and resistance, then I would definitely try to make that entry around mid 60s to lower 70s and ride it back up to that high 80 resistance area and cash out and make some quick profit. All right, moving on. Last but not least, we'll talk about ticker Teum on the weekly. Now looking at ticker Teum, as you can see, it had this nice run up here and it topped out in that mid $3 range, right around that 340 to 350 range right here on multiple occasions. And now as you can see, it's beginning to, the Bollinger Bands are beginning to tighten, showing that that nice consolidation range of the price action is tightening. So sooner or later it has to break out either to the downside or the upside. So with that being said, we want to kind of identify where the momentum is at, and is it in the Bulls' favor or the Bears' favor? Now, keep in mind, the 10-period moving average is holding above that 40 to 50 area, which is very bullish, but at the same time, it hasn't broken above 60, which is what we want to see for a nice momentum breakout. The volume is kind of at a standstill. Keep in mind, your current support areas is right here at that 241. As you can see back in this general area right here. And that current resistance is sitting right here, right around that 308. Okay, right where the price action, yes, it's pushing up in that mid $3 range, but it's closing right around that lower threes, as you can see here, where the price action is holding. Okay, where that top Bollinger Band is at. So if anything, I'll try to make a safe entry right around 240. the lower end of the consolidation spectrum, right around where the support is at. And if you can get that entry right around 240, try to play the spread and or hold for the breakout and keep a tight stop loss right under that 240. Now, looking at this on a daily, it does have some good momentum on a day-to-day basis. As you can see, the price action is holding above the 40 RSI. Anybody that follows me know I love the RSI, man. The RSI gives you so much information if you know how to read it. Honestly, it's the only indicator you need, but I use multiple momentum indicators just to kind of forcefully back one another up. One is kind of like a short-term momentum, one with a medium-term momentum, and one with a more long-term momentum. So every time, as you can see, every time Teum dips down in that 40 area, it holds, and then you get a nice run up, and then it dips down that 40 area again, and you get another nice run up, and then it's dipping down in this 40 area again with small run ups. So as long as it's holding above that 40, then it shows that the momentum is definitely in the bull's favor. Now if it ever dips below that 40 and stays below it, then that shows weakness in the momentum, and then you want to start watching for the stock to possibly break down and start a downtrend. But right now you are having some sideways consolidation with some pretty wild swings, okay, and the swings are beginning to tighten up. But again, I will watch, like I said, for that 240, mid 240, lower 250 entry right around where the support area is at right here. As you can see here, 246 with a 250 close right in that area. Try to make an entry right down in there, and then possibly play the breakout to this range on a week-to-week and day-to-day basis. But this one has some potential for a nice breakout back to the upside in that mid $3 range to a possible $4 range for an easy 30% spread, depending on how you play it and where you make your entries. But continue to watch the volume. Every time you see it dips down into that 240 area, you can see there's a lot of buying volume, and then again, as it begins to run back in those high threes or lower threes to mid threes, then there's some selling volume and it comes back down. So right now it's kind of an equilibrium between the bulls and the bears, with them trying to find a price that they both agree on before one another takes total control of this stock. So those are my top three, man, plus all the plays that I called in the past. Again, man, I'm a swing trader, so I give you a stock. That don't mean it's going to take off that week or it's going to take off that month. It's simply saying, hey, I see a great setup, and if you have patience to make an entry and hold, then there's some potential profit in that one, okay? But till next time, man, TTM Trades, I'm back. We're going to be dropping videos every day. I'm still at 2.8 thousand followers. None of you have left me. I deeply appreciate it. We're going to keep this show moving. We're going to move into that 10,000 follower range. Now, as you can see, StockTwits is coming up with this new private room type thing, experience premium room. So if you guys are looking for me or trying to check me out, I just created my own room. Let's see if I can find it. Is it in here? TTM Trades. Oh man, I actually got 6 people on the watch list. That's pretty cool. So I created my own room, man, so because I know a lot of people want to talk to me one-on-one and go over stocks with me. So I created my own room. Go look for my room. It's TTM Trades, man. Add yourself to that that wait list, so that way once StockTwits starts up these rooms, man, everybody that's on the waiting list will immediately get in. And then I'm probably going to give it like a month or two, and then I'm going to shut it down for people entering for free. And then we're going to switch it to a premium room, man, and start bringing members in for anywhere from $5 to $10 a month. And we're going to make good money together, okay? But go ahead, get on that waiting list. If you're already on that waiting list to get inside the room, man, then you will definitely get in for free. No worries, no issues. And it'll be a joy, man, to have you all in there, so that way we can make some money together. But again, TTM Trades, till next time, which will be tomorrow, I'm out. Peace. Protect them accounts.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.